Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another movie review. Today, we're going to be talking about the 2011 action thriller Haywire. It was directed by Steven Soderbergh, written by Lem Dobbs. It stars Gina Carano, Ewan McGregor, Michael Fassbender, Channing Tatum, Michael Douglas, Antonio Banderas, Julian Alcaraz, and others. The plot synopsis logline is a Black Ops super soldier seeks payback after she's betrayed and set up during a mission. What a succinct description. Kind of like the movie itself. The movie is a nice little 90-minute punch in the face. And it has kind of elements of kind of Cold War, almost like espionage flicks. You could even say it's got almost like a very low-key James Bond feel to it at times. And it's just a brutal, fun ride, honestly. It's incredibly entertaining, incredibly compelling. And a lot of that has to do with, I would say, Gina Carano herself. Now, we know now that she was dubbed. Her voice was dubbed by somebody else, whose name is escaping me at the moment. But, just to put it out there, her voice was dubbed in the movie. Because, this was her first time ever doing any movie, I believe. Or maybe she had done like little bit parts here and there. But this was something that was kind of like a vehicle. It was something that she could hang her hat on. Steven Soderbergh, impressive, respected director, wanted to make a movie with her. Steven Soderbergh, he's got such an eclectic filmography. I mean, the guy is, he's a murderer. Everything from Sex, Lies, and Videotape to Traffic to Aaron Brockovich to the Ocean's 11 movies to, what is it called? Unsane, Logan Lucky, Behind the Candelabra, Contagion, The Informant, The Girlfriend Experience, The Good German. I mean, this guy just is out there kind of trying to challenge himself. And there was a period of time in his life where he was kind of doing that a lot. And that would have been, in and around this time. He did this indie movie called Bubble. It was this very experimental movie where he cast just locals from a town, non-actors. He just kind of went to a town. I think they would just kind of approach people, or they held, kind of just this weird audition. Nobody really knew what they were going in for. And it actually ends up being a pretty good movie. He also did this kind of a similar thing with like Sasha Grey, the porn star. He made this movie called The Girlfriend Experience. And why it's similar to the Sasha Grey thing is that like he kind of keys into a very particular part of this person's kind of person. And in the case of Gina Carano, it's her ability as a fighter. It's her physicality. And it also, I guess in the same way kind of Sasha Grey is, although Sasha Grey is an awful actress, but like she has kind of a presence to her. There is something enigmatic about her. Like you like watching her on screen, even if you don't think she's a great performer. I mean, obviously she just got ousted by Lucasfilm and Disney, because she was in The Mandalorian. And even in The Mandalorian, she's okay. Like, as an actress, she's okay. But her presence is impressive. And you feel drawn to her. And Haywire kind of allowed her the opportunity to kind of explore that about herself. It was kind of a big, startling debut. I mean, I think most people liked Haywire when it came out. I know I did, It's very memorable, and in a weird way, Haywire probably plays better now in like a post John Wick world, where kind of action movies are more respected. They have a little bit more like juice, a little bit more prestige almost, and the types of reasons why we go there because we want to see people actually doing stuff. That's the appeal of John Wick, right? Like, is watching Keanu Reeves actually do all this stuff. And Gina Carano is no different. And the fact of the matter is she can actually do it. She knows how to do it. It was her profession for years, right? And she delivers in spades on that in here. And she was kind of fortunate. Like, Soderbergh is a very thoughtful, very good director. So he surrounds her with a fucking, like, A-list talent, a who's who of A-list talent, and also developed a character for her that just played to her strengths. She gets to be kind of cold, stoic, unassuming a little bit, She's not meant to dramatically react to a lot of things, and it plays into her character, but it also plays into her strengths or lack of strength as an actress. Like, she's not the one that has to do the heavy lifting dramatically. Everybody around her kind of fills that void, and you don't notice because of that. and because of being smartly written by Lem Dobbs, you buy it. Like you actually feel like she's doing a great job, even if she was dubbed, right? She was dubbed over by another actress whose name is escaping me at the moment, unfortunately. Let's see if we can find her. You think she would be like right there? No, it's not. It's not there. But yeah, but Soderbergh doesn't leave her out to dry. I've heard that term used, with an actor that is kind of tasked with doing something that is clearly outside of their range and ability, and a director is just trying to get them to do it, and the movie's resting on their shoulders, and they're not able to get there. You see this a lot with like child actors, actually, where a bad director just won't know how to build a performance with one. Soderbergh, that's not the case here. He does an excellent job with Gina Carano. I honestly, the most shocking thing about Haywire to me is that she didn't just like blow up after Haywire. Because let's look. So she had done like one little scene in something called Blood and Bone right before Haywire. And then it's like 2 years before she gets cast again. She's in Fast and Furious 6. And then she kind of does these little not great movies up until she gets cast in Deadpool. She ends up in a kickboxer movie. But I'm surprised like she just wasn't leaned on as like an action heroine. Like, have smart, good directors, put her in with good scripts, and I think she would have found her way. And this is kind of what happened, a little bit later in her career recently, right? Because of The Mandalorian. She was given good material. She got to work with good directors. Because in The Mandalorian, while The Mandalorian, if you're going to watch modern Star Wars, you might as well watch The Mandalorian, honestly. But she's good in it. She's good. She's solid. And she was a fan favorite, and people really liked her. And Gina Carano, as just a person, just seems kind of like a nice person. And there's a warmth to her. She has a warm presence. As now, maybe in her later years, or something Jon Favreau and the directors of The Mandalorian were able to kind of capitalize on about her. And Soderbergh definitely just did not do her wrong. I think he respected what her abilities were and why he wanted to make this movie with her. He just kind of knew what he was doing going in. It doesn't seem like there was ever anything lost on him as a director, because this thing is so well modulated. It reminds me, like I said, of the John Wick movies in the sense that it is like a flawlessly executed direct-to-video action movie. It just has better casts, has slightly better writing, and obviously better directions. Because Soderbergh's kind of he wears a lot of hats on his sets. He directs, he edits, he is the cinematographer. And his work as a cinematographer is fantastic. It's honestly awesome. And it's another example of him knowing exactly what he's doing in terms of making a movie like this. He knows exactly what he's up to. Because he lets the action play out. It feels brutal and organic. And there's a lot of long takes where Gina's just able to kind of fucking manhandle these dudes. And apparently, from what I understand, they had to do a lot of rehearsing when it came to the action scenes, and the concern was that Gina Carano would hurt her male co-stars because they're actors, they're not fighters. And she's a fighter, and she doesn't know how to fake fight, to play fight. So she actually had to kind of learn that and learn how to not hurt people, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of intense. And the fight scenes here, like they're brutal too. Like they're really fucking, you really feel the hits, you really feel the pain. And her physicality, like you just have the sense that this is a real fighter. Like it's not somebody play acting, it doesn't feel mannered. It just feels wild and aggressive. And I think they really captured something really special with this movie in terms of that. And I hope that it has a legacy beyond, anything else in the action movie landscape, especially of the past like 10, 20 years. This is top tier. I mean, this is probably top 10 at the very least, maybe top 5 even, honestly, if I really thought about it, in terms of having a goal and flawlessly executing on it. Kind of, I would say, like, John Wick 1 comes pretty close to that. That stuff's a little bit more showy because it is built by stuntmen, it's directed by stuntmen. they kind of know what they're doing in terms of on-screen fighting and how to edit and how to develop the fights and how to have a sense of escalation. Here, I would say it's like underplayed in the sense that it does not feel very choreographed. It doesn't feel like a dance. It feels brutal and raw, and they did a great job. Everybody, I mean, even just the other actors, like the fight with Michael Fassbender and Gina Carano is one that like really stands out as being like this really fucking intense, brutal takedown where she squeezes the life out of him, you know? It's fucking awesome. And also, I would say, like, you know, moving forward in her career, now that she's been ousted, kind of probably on a little bit of a blacklist, I guess, but she's, you know, hooked up with the Daily Wire, and that's kind of the big story, Ben Shapiro's outlet, about, like, you know, they're going to develop a project together because they've gotten into the film business, you know? And a lot of people are kind of just like, the fucking Daily Wire. They're going to be like cheesy Christian movies or cheesy religious dramas and stuff like that. And that's not the case, it seems like. And they've hooked up with Dallas Sonye, who, if you don't know, was kind of the head of Cinestate. And Cinestate was this place, was this production company from Austin, Texas, and they were doing like great, awesome genre stuff. And they felt there was like a little scandal that happened, and then Cinestate ends up basically shuttering. But he's still around. He has a new company, and he's working with the Daily Wire. So, based on like the things he's produced thus far, I would say most of them are really good. And if you look at what he did with S. Craig Zahler, what he's done even recently, the last project Cinestate had was this movie called Run, Hide, Fight, which there's a review of it up on our channel. And they're all solid. They're all really good. They're like good genre action thrillers, you know? So I think that people kind of unfairly dismiss what's going on over there. And the fact that they've only put out Run, Hide, Fight so far is because that movie was filmed way before any of this stuff was happening. And the Daily Wire basically just like procured it. They bought it. And then they developed a relationship with Dallas Sonye. So I think with him, she's probably in pretty decent hands, honestly, because I think he's going to be able to kind of, on a fundamental level, understand what Gina Carano can actually do and what she can bring to a movie. Like, what do you do with Gina Carano? I think Haywire is a pretty good blueprint for that, honestly. Because if you just look at the direction and you look at the way her character is constructed, the way her character is written, it plays to her strengths. It plays to like her kind of lack of ability in a weird way. And I think if you want to give her like the top billing on something, you want her to be the star of something, it seems like it would be really important to understand those things and not leave her out to dry. You know, don't give her big dramatic things where she has to break down and cry and all that kind of stuff. Give her kind of a cool, stoic action hero role, you know, like in the same way, like I've said it a bunch of times, but John Wick, like that's the kind of character she'd probably be good at playing, honestly. Somebody that just gets the shit kicked out of him and won't stop, can't stop, you know. That's my 2 cents on that. But anyways, as I'm sure you've gathered, I really liked Haywire. Rewatching it now, I liked it more than I did back when it came out. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the action movie landscape has just changed. It changed enough. It's kind of more directed at something like Haywire. It has aged very well, you know. A lot of great performances by everybody. You know, Michael Douglas is great in this. Actually, the one person that I thought was really good, it really brought like kind of a sense of warmth and stuff, was Bill Paxton. He plays Carano's father in the movie, and it's a small role. Like all of the supporting roles, all these big actors, they're pretty small roles. They probably didn't actually have to be there very long during the production. I think it was a pretty quick down and dirty production as well. They all have kind of limited roles, but they add this kind of this gravitas to everything. It gives the movie legitimacy because they're there just on their star power, honestly. And also, you know, and their ability as actors. I mean, everybody's there to support Gina Carano, support her performance, support her her presence, and they make her look really good. So that's kind of what I think you need to do with her going forward, in my opinion. Because, you know, like I said, not the greatest actress in the world, but I think she's an interesting of enough like screen presence that she's probably worth putting a little time into, a little work into, in terms of getting her there, maybe giving her good material. I think that's the way forward. So you guys should, dial Sonya. You give me a call. I'll let you know what to do. Expert movie guy on the internet. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to know more about Zoobox, there's a bunch of links in the description for Facebook, for Instagram, for my Twitter, for my brother Dan's Twitter. Also, alternative streaming stuff. We can't stream on the main channel right now, so we're over on DLive. We're probably going to check out Twitch. We have another YouTube channel you can go and subscribe to, which is just my old personal channel that we are going to be doing live streams on for the time being. So make sure you go over there and subscribe and follow and all that good stuff for those platforms. And it's good, it ends up kind of being a good thing, kind of gets you to spread out a little bit, go try some alternative platforms, There's no reason why YouTube should have like this kind of draconian control of the lion's share of this space. The internet is endless and infinite, it feels like, right? Why are we relegating ourselves to like 4 websites that we all just, cycle through? It's not like back in the old days, like in the Wild West days, right? The internet's a big place. There's no really need to just have it all centralized. I know it's convenient, but convenience culture is really fucking us. So it's a good thing to go out and support other platforms. But anyways, we'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye.